I'm Darren Franich, senior writer for Entertainment Weekly.
I'm Chris Kluwe, nerf herder and power converter deliverer.
And this is Geek vs. Nerd. I'm a geek, you're a nerd, or perhaps I'm a nerd and you're a geek. We can work that out later. We've each assembled our own questions that we've written ourselves in various categories from across the geek to nerd spectrum. And we're gonna test each other. Are you ready for this?
We'll see whose shorts is bigger.
First category, Final Fantasy, series of video games. First question for you. Final Fantasy VII broke the hearts of a generation of gamers when it killed off Aeris halfway through. When we first meet Aeris in the game, she is selling what?
That's a good one. She is selling flowers.
That is correct! Point on the board for Chris Kluwe.
Final Fantasy VII, a very, very good game. I would rank it as my second best Final Fantasy game. The question I'm asking you is from my favorite Final Fantasy game, Final Fantasy VI. Which character sang the opera part in Final Fantasy VI?
Oh my gosh, Final Fantasy VI. Is that the one that was called Final Fantasy III
Yes,
when it was released in the US? Okay,
yep.
Good. Large cast of characters who, like, most of them, like, died off, right? Or like, a lot of them died along the course of the game.
Depends if you save them or not.
Do you like how I'm kind of, like, trying to give myself more time here? I am just a total shot in the dark here. Is it Sid?
No. It's close. It was actually Celis.
Oh, it's Celis.
Yep,
Which one was Celis? Was that the one
She was the former Imperial officer who defected over to the other side because she couldn't work with Kefka anymore. I really liked her storyline. She was a very interesting character.
I feel shame.
All right, next we have Star Wars.
Heard of it?
Heard of it? You
Okay.
might have heard it. Now the question is, have you heard of the Star Wars Extended Universe?
Oh my God, have I heard of the Extended Universe?
Okay.
I am actually upset because the new trilogy of movies is going to ignore the Expanded Universe.
Okay, so name the Star Wars Extended Universe admiral who could deduce an opponent's strategy from studying their culture and definitely deserves to have a movie made about him.
I'm gonna go with, this is of course the coolest blue man ever, Grand Admiral Thrawn.
You are correct.
Yes! I would love to see the Thrawn trilogy. Who would you cast as Grand Admiral Thrawn?
That's, Ben Kingsley might be interesting.
Ooh, Ben Kingsley. I'm gonna ask you a Star Wars question now. Which of the following was not one of the bounty hunters assembled by Darth Vader to hunt down Han Solo in Empire Strikes Back? Which of them was not there? Was it Bosk, IG-88, Dengar, Dash Rendar, or Zuckuss?
Oh, so I know it's not Bosk or IG-88, because I remember reading about them in the actual Extended Universe Bounty Hunter book.
Of course, Tales from the Bounty Hunters.
Tales from the Bounty Hunters,
yes.
Awesome book. Dash Rendar, I think is it, because I want to say I remember that name as actually being a protagonist. I'm gonna go with Dash Rendar.
That's correct. Dash Rendar, introduced in Shadows of the Empire, which was the spin-off set in between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, when basically they were like, well, Han Solo's not here, so we need someone who's exactly like Han Solo.
Yeah, exactly.
The Silmarillion makes Lord of the Rings look like The Hobbit. And now, back to Geek versus Nerd. We're gonna do a category near and dear to all our hearts, Nintendo.
Nintendo.
Now, you've heard of Mario, I'm sure, and I'm sure you've heard of Luigi.
I have heard of Luigi.
Whose defining personality trait is that he's not Mario.
Exactly.
What was the first video game to give Luigi a starring role?
Ooh, the first, and it's a Nintendo era video game?
Well, I'll give you a hint here, this is the first 10 years of Mario's existence.
Oh man, that's a tough one. Of the games I'm familiar with, I would go with, but it's not a starring role. See, I would think Super Mario Bros. 2, because you could pick from Toad, Luigi, Mario, or Peach. None of them was really the main character.
Yep, stop stalling.
Yeah, stop stalling.
First game, Luigi Mario in a starring role.
I don't know the first game Luigi was a starring role in.
The game was, of course, Mario is Missing. The educational game where Mario has been kidnapped and Luigi, I think he's like learning about like the state capitals or something like that.
Sounds like it. I remember when I was a kid, I had Mario Teaches Typing. Mine is relatively obscure, so I have confidence in this one. What secret trick in Mega Man 3 for NES gives you invincibility from enemies and pits for that level?
Okay, so I played a lot of Mega Man 1 and 2, and then I played a lot of Mega Man, was it X? When suddenly it was in the future and it was all dark and it was almost impossible. Mega Man 3, what was the secret trick that would give you invincibility? Boy. This is clearly why I never beat Mega Man 3.
You hold down right on the second controller. So when you're falling into a pit, you hold down right on the second controller, then jump out of the pit. And as long as you don't pick up any health or anything, you're invincible for the rest of the level, and you can jump out of the rest of the pits. Made it really easy to beat Mega Man 3.
This is why you had a Nintendo Power subscription back in the day.
Oh man, that's what I miss about old games. Like I think kind of before the internet era, when you had, you could find these crazy things, and then your friends would also make up things that never existed, and you'd be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna try that.
Listen, the Tomb Raider nude Lara Croft code, which everybody you knew in grade school claimed to know, was not actually true. Chris is up 2-1 here.
All right, our next category is wizards. Who is the wizard who's so cowardly he's approaching heroism from the opposite direction?
Is this from the Terry Pratchett series of Discworld novels?
Yes, it is.
And is it Rincewind?
It is, you're
Oh
correct.
my gosh!
Well done.
You're a Discworld fan.
I love Discworld. It's
The
amazing.
Discworld books are, we should clarify here. So Terry Pratchett, British author, I think he wrote like 2 books a year or something like that, set in the realm of Discworld, and every book is awesome.
Yeah, they're
all fantastic.
And I tell people that, these aren't just fantasy books, they're some of the best satire novels of our generation. Like you read these books and you're like, holy crap, he's going after everything, and it makes sense.
I'm gonna go a little more old school here.
Okay. It's Gandalf, isn't it?
Dang it! Oh God! How did he know? In L. Frank Baum's original novel, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, the wizard has a first name, a last name, and 7 middle names. Name one of the names of the character who we all know as the Wizard of Oz.
So I've got like a 1 in 9 chance.
You've got a 1 in 9 chance here.
Oh, that's been a really long time since I read The Wizard of Oz.
Did you see Oz the Great and Powerful?
I didn't.
Okay.
I saw
Good for you. I will give you a hint here. So he's the Wizard of Oz, and Oz.
Is it Ozymandias?
His full name is Oscar Zoroaster Phaedric Isaac Norman Henkel Emmanuel Ambrose Diggs. I'm surprised you didn't get Zoroaster, actually.
His parents must have been cracked out of their mind.
The category is fantasy novels.
Okay.
I think you're gonna get this one.
All right.
Based on what was said earlier. Terry Pratchett's Discworld series is set on a flat world that sits on top of the back of 4 giant elephants, which in turn stand on top of a giant creature. What kind of creature are those 4 giant elephants standing upon?
It is the space turtle Atun.
That is correct.
Floats through the void, carrying Discworld.
That is correct. It's one of my favorite images in the fantasy genre, this kind of pizza-shaped world on top of 4 elephants on top of the turtle.
Just so many creation myths just jammed into one.
Let's hear the last question.
All right. What notable fantasy series had titles based entirely on puns?
What notable fantasy series? Okay, what are the notable fantasy series? We've got Lord of the Rings, we've got Wheel of Time, we've got Discworld, we've got...
This is a little earlier, started in the 70s, kind of mid-70s, and then...
So it's not the Michael Moorcock novels. Michael Moorcock is just the best name to say out loud. What are puns? What are some of the great puns of all time? What is a pun when you get right down to it? Rarely is the question asked. I am going to go with the beloved fantasy series by that guy. I don't know.
Xanth by Piers Anthony.
Piers Anthony! Yep. Oh, I'm so upset that I didn't get that. Chris Kluwe, you are the winner of this edition of Geek vs. Nerd. Chris, we have a new tradition here at Geek vs. Nerd. Everyone who beats me at the game gets to sign the Silver Stormtrooper, aka the Strooper. Poor Imperial guy, just walking along one day, got frozen forever in silver carbonite.
Probably would have rather worked for Galactus.
Would you do us the honor of being the first signature on the Silver Stormtrooper?
Thank you.
Well, that was fun. Want to see me challenge more nerds? Click on these and let us know in the comments how many questions you got right.